Today we're going to cover 4 main techniques by learning a popular song, and the song that I've selected for you is Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. The reason I've selected this song is that it's going to reinforce some topics that we've covered already this year, as well as introduce something new. Additionally, unfortunately, Chris Cornell passed earlier this year, so it's nice to take a look at some of the work that he left us. It's a great song, very popular song in the mid to late 90s, and hopefully you recognize it and enjoy playing it. So the first thing we're going to look at now is triads. We're going to look at the major triads and the minor triads. And I'm going to run through this quickly. There is a handout that will just kind of refresh your memory on the different shapes and stuff for the major and minor triads. To review very quickly, just to kind of give you the overview and the nuts and bolts of what we have covered already with triads this year, is that a triad is a 3-note chord. We're going to play that triad on the first 3 strings. So each note of the chord is going to get its own dedicated string. And that's kind of how chords work, right? The first chord we're looking at is an E minor chord. And the notes in that E minor chord are E, G, and B. So I have 3 notes and 3 strings. What winds up happening is I kind of get 3 different combinations or 3 different possible ways to play that E minor chord. There's one where the E is on the first string. So there's an E minor chord. That's everybody's favorite. That's the simplest way to play an E minor is I get my open E on the top there on the first string. Then I got a B, and then I have a G. Play all 3 of those strings at once. E minor chord. Then there's another version where I'm going to get the E from the second string. And this, if you know a D minor chord, it's the exact same grip as a D minor, it's just up 2 frets. If you don't know the D minor, well, you will shortly. The D minor grip is when I put my second finger down here, and I'm going to make it an E minor. So that's the 4th fret of the 3rd string with my middle finger. I'm going to get the E, my ring finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and then my index finger is grabbing the G on the high string there. All right, so far we have, there's this inversion of a triad E minor, all the open strings. This next one is also an E minor, and the E now is in the middle string. And the last one I'm going to get is using a grip that I lovingly call finger stairs, because you're just kind of organizing your fingers in a little staircase, 3, 2, 1. So you're going to take that little staircase and put it on the 9th fret of the 3rd string, and that's my E. And I'm going to grab a G on the next string with my middle finger on the 8th fret. And then my index finger will get a B on the top. Okay, so I have this one with the E on the 1st string, this one with the E on the 2nd string, and then this one with the E on the 3rd string. All those are E minors. Now there's one more I can get. Well, really depends on how much guitar you have, but even if you're playing an acoustic guitar where the body starts to meet here, there's one more that we can get, and it's the same one as where we started, just at the 12th fret. So 12, 12, 12. If you didn't remember this, now the 12th fret is the same as the open string. So it's kind of the same shape that we started with, right? If this is an E, so is this. If this is a B, so is this. G's. Okay? So we got those options. So let's run through those triads real quick together. I'm going to tap whole notes here. Okay, I'm going to tap my foot, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just going to work our way up those 4 different options for the E minor, starting on the opens, ending on the 12th fret, whole notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open strings. 2, 3, 4. D minor grip. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finger stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12 frets. 2, 3, 4. Let's go backwards. We'll go 12th fret to finger stairs to D minor grip to opens. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, Let's go back up. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Hit that again and come down. Now. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay? Well done. Let's move those. So we don't necessarily need to play an F minor, which we could play at 1, 1, 1. We could play F sharp minor here at 2, 2, 2. We're going to play G minors. The next chord that we're going to need for this song is going to be a G minor. So let's play it here first. All right, so all I've done is taken this kind of shape of the open, open, open. Right, open, open, open was E minor. If I move all of those up by 1 fret to 1, 1, 1, that would give me an F minor. Moving all that up to fret number 2, 2, 2, 2, gives me F sharp minor. Moving all of that up 1 more fret to G gives me G minor, 3, 3, 3. All right, we're going to go through the inversions now on G, G minor. So take a moment and pay attention to your layout of your instrument. So whatever we just played on the E minor, we're going to add 3 to all of those shapes. So what was zeros is now 3s. Okay. The next one we did here at the 4th, 5th, and 3rd fret when it was E minor. Well, now we're going to move that up by 3 frets, and G minor, the next inversion is now here. And then the next inversion we're going to get is finger stairs at the 12th fret. Right here, G. All right. So working our way up, we got 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And if you really wanted to, you can get 15, 15, 15. Just because we did 4 on the E minor, the 4th would be there. We're going to leave that one out for now. So we're going to start down at 3, and then we're going to go up to here where we're getting the G from the 8th fret. And then we'll go up to here finally where we're getting the, the G from the 12th fret. So let's do that together. We'll go up and then down. Okay, whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Move up. 2, 3, 4. Finger stairs. 2. Hit that one again. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the G minor. So Black Hole Sun, the first, well, it's the first 2 chords anyway, are those E minors and a G minor. We're going to get the E minor up here at the 12th fret, and then we'll get the G minor here, also at the 12th fret. All right, here. I'm finding that the easiest way for my fingers to get this chord is to bar with my ring finger. The reason I'm barring with my ring finger here, laying it down across all 3, is that it makes it much easier to get to this G minor, that I can just kind of pivot the finger's flat, and then I bend it, and then I'm at finger stairs for this G minor here. Of course, you can do it any way that fits nicely under your hands. If you can get there quick enough, then go that way. I would not recommend playing the E minor with 3 different fingers. You definitely want to try and get a bar on that. And the trick to getting a good bar is to be straight in your finger from tip to knuckle. So keeping that as straight as you can. If you bend, not that you can't bend, it tends to change the angle of your fingers and you're more likely to kind of click and whiff some of those notes in between there. All right. The next chord that we will need is going to be an F. The F is a combination of 2 different inversions of the F major. And I know I'm going through this quickly. We'll go back and I'll show you how to play this whole section, but I want to give you an overview of the remaining chords here. The next chord is a combination of a root position F here. It's going to take that low F there and it combines it with the first inversion F here, which I'm doing as 14, 13, 13. And it's really more of an F power chord, and I'm basically going F, C, F. 10, 13, 13. Notice that I'm barring with my pinky. I think the frets are spaced close enough together that you could use your ring finger and your pinky and then stretch back and get the 10th fret this way. It's kind of up to you. If you can't bar with your pinky, or if you've never tried it, this is an excellent time to start developing that skill and that strength. Okay? So really what this is, it is a power chord. It's a 3-note power chord here at F. The next one that we're going to get, the next chord goes right back to E minor. So the first 4 chords are E minor, 12, 12, 12, to a G minor, 12, 11, 10, to an F, 10, 13, 13, to an E minor. The next chord that's going to pop up is going to be an E flat major. And how we're getting that is going to be first inversion right nearby. So we just played a 12, 12, 12 E minor. Now I'm going to play E flat by going 12, 11, 11. Okay? The next chord is just going to kind of bring the 11 and the 11 down to 10 and 10. So I have an E flat here in first inversion. And then I'm going to kind of move down to a D. It's kind of like a D sus4, we'll call it. And that's 12, 10, 10. So we'll play the E flat here. I got 12 on the G string, 11 and 11 on the B and the E. And I got 12 again. And then 10, 10. All right. What we have now from start to where we just left off is an E minor, to a G, to an F, to an E minor, to an E flat, to a D sus4. Okay? I know we've never covered a sus4 in terms of these 3-note triads. That's okay. Just know that that's what that is. Then we're going to go back to an E minor, and then we have a strange kind of G7, and then we're going to go to an A flat in root position. Okay, so this next section is a little hairy. It moves by quickly, but this is basically going to take us to the end of this section. So it's not too bad. We got about 8 measures of music and like 7 different chords. All right, so I'm going to go through that again. The very end of this is going to play an E minor again. And then it goes to this G7, which is the 10th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret. I'm choosing to bar that 10th fret. You don't have to. There are other ways that you can get it. If you're not great at barring, then I would use first finger, pinky, second finger. Though, if you can bar, I would definitely do that. And it's going to finish out 13, 13, 11, which is an A flat in root position. All right? Work on those chords. I'd recommend pausing the video, making sure that you have those down. If you have any questions, consult the handout or rewind and see how I'm fretting these. And I'll see you again in just a minute. Okay, now that you know these chord shapes, or have a better grasp of where you're heading on the neck, we're going to talk about the timing of this song. It is a repeating pattern for the most part. It's a 2-measure rhythm, and we're always entering on the upbeat of 1. All right, so the upbeat of 1 means we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, but all of these are downbeats. Okay, we need to come in right after 1. So like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I find that a lot of students kind of struggle with coming in on the upbeat of 1 because most things that you've played up until this point have been very strong accent on that downbeat of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, in a moment, I'm going to play some drum backing tracks here, and the drum is going to play a heavy downbeat, and then you are immediately going to respond to it. And I found that students can get the hang of this if they hit their instrument on that downbeat and then pick kind of up right afterwards. Or pick and then hit down and kind of bounce off of that. At least this way, you still have a physical interaction on that strong downbeat of 1. You're just not going to play any notes. All right, so you would do it like this. 1 and. Now, in the long run, we'd want to take that hit out because you can hear through my speakers that, you know, it's almost as loud as the rest of the notes that I'm playing, and we don't necessarily want that. Overall, the rhythm that we want is going to be da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay? We'll do a measure of E minor and then a measure of G minor. We'll do it that way. Right, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Again. 1, 3, 4. Again. 3, 4. 3, 4. Okay. The next measure is taking the exact same rhythm and we're going to change the chords. All right, so it's still da 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 da. New chords now, we're going to an F, this F kind of power chord, and then back to an E minor. So measures 3 and 4 are that F power chord and the E minor like this. Alright, so putting that all together, we got the first 4 measures are from an E minor to a G minor, and then from an F back to an E minor. Alright, the next chord we're going to then is the E flat. Alright, so that's that E flat down to that D sus. Alright, so the first 6 measures are alright. The last little bit is this turnaround where I have an E minor to a G7 to an A flat, and this is all pretty even, and this is the only section that doesn't start on the upbeat of 1. It does in fact start on the downbeat, which I think might be easier. At this point it might even be harder because we're so focused on coming in on the upbeat. Let's just talk about how that works. Alright, it's kind of tricky to get to this first, this root position A flat here. So I'm getting pinky is in the middle there, ring fingers on the 13 of the G string, and then index fingers on top. So it's ring finger, pinky, index there. I would practice that by itself because it's pretty tricky, and that's the end of the pattern. Alright? That is the verse of this song. I'm going to play through it for you, and I'm going to add in the effects now, and I think the effects are pretty cool. What I've done here is I've dialed up a clean amp here, on my fancy dancy computer. So if you're familiar with music of the 70s, a lot of the keyboard stuff kind of had this whooshy kind of effect, and how they get that is the speaker itself actually spins inside the box, and it's pretty neat. And that's what's going on here. And through the wonders of modern technology, I'm able to kind of get that effect here through my computer without having to get a big old box and a mechanical speaker and lug that thing around. So if you don't have a computer effect that you can add on there, and you don't happen to have a spinning speaker, you can get this effect if you use a chorus and you turn the rate up a little bit, or you can get a vibrato or a tremolo effect. A lot of my students have the line 6 effects, and if you take your tremolo setting, the tremolo knob on there, and turn that guy up, you can get that kind of vibrating effect. And it's nice to have a little bit of a chorus, a little bit of a kind of a wavy sound on there. So what the chorus does is kind of gives it this kind of modulating wah 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 kind of sound to it. So overall, now once we combine the chords, Alright, so that's the overall sound here. That's what's going on. For your practicing purposes, there's 2 speeds of drum. There's going to be a slower version, and there's going to be a performance version. The performance version is going to be this here, and I'll show you how it's going to work. Make sure that you're waiting for after the big drum hit, right? There's going to be a 4 count in. The drums will hit on beat 1, and then you enter. All right, that's how that works. Give it a shot and let me know what you come up with.